Inflation is at an all-time high. Housing prices and interest rates seem to be going up and up. So where you live and the cost it is to live there matters more than ever. But it's not the cost of housing that's most important. It is the day-to-day cost of groceries, utility bills, and taxes. So let's take a look at all of these plus housing and see what the cost of living is in Boise. Plus at the end, I'm going to compare the cost of living in Boise to the other major cities you are probably moving from or thinking of moving to. Let's start with your daily costs like utility bills. First with your electric bill. Idaho has Idaho Power, which is a big plus because unlike Texas and other states that have a bunch of smaller private companies competing over and overcharging, we get one unified company that utilizes the dams and the natural resources in Idaho to bring some very affordable energy. On average, your electric bill is going to be about $141 a month for a typical home in the valley. That of course can vary depending on the size, but you are going to be paying significantly less than the rest of the nation. Your gas bill, which varies during the season as it gets colder in the winter, is around $55 a month. And then your water bill will be around $100 a month. But this can change because at parts of Boise, you don't pay water for your lawn. You get irrigation water in the summers that is a flat fee every year, usually around $50, and makes that water bill even lower. So water your lawn away if you happen to move into a home in one of those areas. This makes for a total around $350 a month for your utilities, which is one of the lowest in the entire country. Now, my name is Brady Fagel. I am a local in the Boise area. I've lived here more than 20 years, and I'm also a realtor. I love helping people move to the Boise area. So shoot me a text or a call or an email or book a call with me. I'd love to help you move to the Boise area or at least decide if Boise is going to be right for you. If you're undecided and you're looking at Idaho, Texas, Florida, still give me a call. I'd love to help you see which one is actually going to fit your family the best, because Boise is not always the best option. But let's get back into the video on the cost of living here. Transportation. Boise does not have much public transportation, so the number that matters is the gas prices. If you compare it to California or other states, we have a lot cheaper prices, which comes down to the lower gas tax that Idaho has, and I'll talk about all of the taxes later on in the video. But gas here is slightly more expensive than the national average, and it's always higher than our neighboring states, Utah and Wyoming. This week, gas prices are sitting right around $3.20 a gallon in the first month of 2024. Now, if you end up moving here, the cheapest place to get gas in the valley is actually going to be Walmart. So there's a Walmart gas station at most of the Walmarts in the valley, and most people think that Costco is the cheapest. It is a close second, but Costco has long lines. It's only open certain days and times of the week. And of course you need the Costco membership, whereas with Walmart you don't. And remember too, if you work in Boise and decide to move to Nampa, Caldwell, Star, Middleton, or reverse that and you work in those places and you live in Boise, your commutes are going to be 30 miles a day extra. So factor that in what it will end up costing you to live here. Groceries. Boise again is going to be lower than the national average, with $281 a month per person being the average spent here in the valley. Me and my fiance spend around $600 a month on groceries, but we do buy more organic and whole foods. And here in a little bit, I'll discuss the best and cheapest grocery stores in the valley, depending on how you shop. But the average cost of the basics here is $3.72 for a loaf of bread, around $3.25 for a gallon of milk, and $2.16 for a dozen eggs. Now that is all going to vary depending on how you eat and the size of your family. So let's take a look at the different grocery stores in the valley so you can see where you would shop after moving here. Price-wise, Albertsons and Whole Foods are going to be the most expensive here. Don't let the fancy, nice Albertsons and the fact that you can get a whiskey and Coke at Albertsons and then walk around the store and shop get you lured into their high prices. I actually had an old friend who his wife used to do all of the grocery shopping, and then he almost exclusively did it because he'd go to Albertsons and get himself a drink and then do the grocery shopping. But Fred Meyer, Walmart, Ridley's are going to be in the middle of the prices in most cases. Ridley's is a smaller town grocery store here, and it's in Star, Middleton, and Kuna. And then Trader Joe's and Costco will be some of your more affordable options, but they're not going to be the cheapest of all. Winco Foods is the price leader in the Treasure Valley. It's a mix of Costco and Walmart as far as what it feels like. You can buy some things in bulk, but it's still great for just running a quick errand for dinner that same night. The big downside to Winco is you cannot use a credit card, which if you are someone like me and you like to take advantage of those credit card points at 5% for that grocery category, it can be annoying to shop here, but it is part of why they are the cheapest in the valley. They avoid those credit card processing fees and save you more money on the back end. Now, if you're somebody like us and you shop more organic, Whole Foods, Trader Joe's and Whole Foods are obviously going to be the first one you think of. We also have a Boise co-op, and Trader Joe's is going to by far be the best prices for those types of grocery shopping. And that's just because they have their own supply chain, so they can charge a little bit less. They have less overhead. But the one that people don't realize is Fred Meyer's has quite a few options when it comes to organic and your Whole Foods, and they actually have pretty decent prices when it comes to that category. So Fred Meyer is another one to look at. Now, taxes. Property taxes here are going to be about 0.7% in Ada County, which is Meridian, Kuna, Boise, Eagle, and around 1% in Canyon County, which is Nampa, Caldwell, Star, in that area. We do have a sales tax here of 6%, so when you go to buy a car or spend on anything, it can be a little extra tip to the government there you can expect. The state income tax is 5.8%, which isn't negative if you are looking at Texas or Florida or Nashville as some of your options to move to, but still far beats most states like California. And a big bonus for those of you who are retired is that Social Security income is completely tax exempt in Idaho. And if you are retired, I suggest checking out this video here to learn more, because I go into detail on everything retirement in Boise and why it really is the best decision to retire in Boise. But overall, the taxes in Idaho are much more affordable, and it is a big benefit of living here. The one downside to Boise is that the income has not kept up with the price of homes. Boise is sitting right around $60,000 a year for household income, which, as you're about to see, does not keep up with the cost of living and housing as much as it should. Now, when it comes to housing, this is where Boise takes a little bit of a hit. Unless you're coming from California, Oregon, New York, Washington, the average home here in Boise is around $500,000, and the average home listed on the market is $560,000. Meridian's list price will be slightly higher at around $580,000, and then Eagle and Star will be more expensive than any other city in the entire valley. Nampa, Caldwell will be the most affordable by far. Oftentimes you can find houses for $50,000 to even $100,000 less for the same size house in Nampa and Caldwell. Now, for most people with a family, you're going to be looking at homes in the $350,000 to $600,000 range, and anything under $300,000 is pretty much non-existent for something that is livable, unless you go downtown Caldwell or downtown Nampa, which I have a video here on all of the reasons why you should and should not live in downtown Caldwell. But if you're a single guy, it may make sense to find some of those houses and check out that video, or just reach out to me and I can give you a look and why that may be the best fit for you. When it comes to rent in Boise, the overall average rent is going to be around $2,000 a month, with one bedrooms around $1,600 a month. My fiance, she has her one bedroom apartment and she pays $1,500 a month right now. And then when you get into single family homes, it's going to be around $2,500 to $2,800 a month. You can find some for $2,000, but I'd say on average a single family home is going to be $2,500 a month. Now, I don't see this changing anytime soon, and if you watch my video on the housing market for 2024, I explain things more in depth, but I think home prices are going to continue to appreciate, especially this year, like we are already seeing. Now, let's take a look at some of the most popular cities and how they compare when it comes to the cost of living. Los Angeles, the cost of living in Boise is 29% lower overall, and the housing is 48% cheaper in Boise. If you were to make $100,000 in Los Angeles, you would only need to make $71,000 in Boise to keep up the same lifestyle. Portland, Boise is 13% lower overall and 22% lower for housing. If you make $100,000 in Portland, you only need to make $86,000 in Boise. San Francisco, Boise is 40% lower overall and 60% lower when it comes to housing. If you make $100,000 in San Francisco, you only need to make $60,000 in Boise. And then Seattle, Boise again, 28.2% lower overall, and housing is 40% lower. If you make $100,000 in Seattle, you only need to make $71,000 in Boise. Washington, D.C., Boise is 22% lower overall, and housing is 49% lower. If you make $100,000 in D.C., you only need to make $77,000 in Boise. Denver, Boise is only 2.5% lower overall, and the housing is 8% cheaper in Boise. If you make $100,000 in Denver, you'd need to make $97,000 in Boise. San Jose, Boise is 27% lower overall and 48% lower when it comes to housing. $100,000 in San Jose is $72,000 in Boise. And San Diego, Boise is 25% lower overall and 43% cheaper when it comes to housing. $100,000 in San Diego is $75,000 in Boise.